Hey, what's up? It's Coach Dawn with Epic Redemption Coaching. I'm so mad at myself that I did not record the last session I had with one of my individual training clients because there was some really valuable information and coaching that happened that I want to share with you. So I've got to recreate it a little bit. And so I'll have to give you a little bit of context. But I've been working with a young woman. She is like 21. We've been working together a little over 5 months now. And she is just shy of hitting 20 pounds lost. And for a lot of people, that doesn't sound like much of a big deal, right? But she has steadily lost every week or stayed the same over the course of the entire time we're working together. So if you look at what she's doing, she is officially like 19 pounds down. What I see with a lot of women and a lot of women that come to me for some consultations, they've lost weight in the past. They've lost 20 pounds in 2 months. That is absolutely doable. But the problem is by the time they reach month 5, they're back up. They put that weight back on. So over that course of time, they're here. Where the woman I'm working with is here. And I want to show you really quickly what this looks like and then get to the part of the coaching. So this is our work together. This is what she's done over the course of time. Next week we expect to be celebrating officially 20 pounds down. And in fairness, she did not really embrace the nutrition side of what we've been doing together until about 6 weeks in. So really this is probably about 3.5 months worth of work, not like 5, right? Um, but steadily has lost over time. And during this time, there have been holidays. She had graduation parties, multiple to go to. She had family graduating. She's had friends in town. She's had real life. And what we focused on is small changes that didn't disrupt everything she was doing so that she could be consistent over time to see that weight loss. As far as working out, she's working out 5 days a week, less than 30 minutes a day. And that's been consistent when she's working out. Our goal is to make sure she's hitting at least 3 days. And so it's typically 3 to 5 days a week. All right, let me stop that screen share. So in our conversation, we were speaking specifically about her nutrition. And that's something that we do every week. How was your nutrition last week? What were your wins? Where did we have struggles? What does the week ahead look like? How do we need to prepare? Do we need to make any adjustments? And because she's been steadily losing, not as fast maybe as she'd like, but she's happy with progress. She suggested, maybe I should switch out some of my like starchy carbs for more veggies. And I actually said, don't do that. Why would somebody say not to do that? Now, we did talk about what she was calling starchy carbs, right? And so she's really more talking like some potatoes, rice. She was talking more beans, not like chips and donuts and brownies, right? So she was talking about maybe swapping them out. So before I said no, I asked, okay, well, what veggies are you having? Are you having at least 1 to 2 servings of veggies at each meal? She is. So her thinking was, let's get rid of that starchy carb and replace it with more veggies. And that's going to get her going in the right direction faster. And it might. But my next question to her was, are you getting hungry in between lunch and dinner? No. Okay, good. Are you finding that you're like craving stuff between lunch and dinner? No. Okay, good. How are you feeling between lunch and dinner? And she said, actually, I'm really not hungry at all. I don't even realize I'm hungry until I start to get tired and I wonder why I'm tired. And then I realize I haven't eaten in a while. So my next question to her is, well, is that happening around dinner time or before dinner time? And she said, no, it's happening when I should be having dinner is when I start to get tired. I'm like, perfect. So this is why I don't want her to swap out that carb. The importance when we talk about weight loss, when we talk about fat loss, yes, we need to be in a calorie deficit. We know that scientifically, it's a fact. There is like any study that you will ever do is going to tell you in order to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to have less calories coming in than are going out. And they go out in many different ways, not just working out. That's a whole other conversation. But if your hormones, if your metabolism, if that is not balanced, it doesn't matter how much of a deficit you're in, you're not going to be able to lose weight. You need to have those two things working together simultaneously. And when they work together simultaneously, when you're in a calorie deficit and your hormones are balanced, then you drop weight. And so how can you tell when your hormones are balanced, right? What's the trick? What's the formula? How do you stay full between lunch and dinner and be losing. You typically, the general rule to figure out if you're balanced is if you're not hungry between meals, right? You're not feeling hungry all the time. You're not craving stuff, right? Sometimes you're not hungry, but you're craving things. You need that. And then you have to have good energy. So when your energy is balanced and you've got no cravings and no hunger, and you see the scale going down, then you're in that good balanced state. And the reason that I told her that I didn't want her to mess with that carb completely is because that carb is one of the reasons that she's not having that craving and that she's staying full. A lot of times I see ladies want to cut out their potato or the bread or whatever it is at that lunch meal. And so they cut it out. But what ends up happening instead, they get really hungry and they start craving things that they normally wouldn't be craving between lunch and dinner. And then they end up eating more than what that carb would have been. And it throws them out of whack and it sends them in a direction that they didn't want, right? Where if they just ate that carb, then they would have been sustained, they wouldn't have the cravings, and they'd make it till dinner. So, what we did suggest was maybe playing around with the portions. I said, if we really want to play around with it a little bit, maybe cut that serving a little bit, maybe cut it by a quarter, cut it in half, and see if that's still enough, right? Maybe add or play around with the other portion sizes, not just to get rid of that, because that's something that she enjoys and that's something that's keeping her from craving the other things. So instead of completely getting rid of it, we're just making a little change. I told her if she wanted a couple of the days, swap it out and see what happens depending on the veggie she's swapping in. If she swaps it out and is still satisfied and feeling good and not craving and the scale still going down, then we can get that data. And that's why it's not exact what's going to work for one person versus another. For me, that sweet potato at lunch really carries me through. For somebody else, having that sweet potato might be leading to eating more things that they don't want. And so you really need that balance. And that's where having a coach to walk you through and talk you through and figure it out can be really, really helpful. So anyway, that's what we did in that session. I thought it was valuable enough that I wanted to share some of that logic, some of that reasoning, because I think we hurt ourselves when we're trying to do the right thing, when we're trying to do what we think we should, and then it backfires. That stinks. We don't want that. I've heard it referred to. I listened to a training and the gentleman referred to it as the banana effect, right? Sometimes you get to that, maybe lunch is over and you're just craving something. There's a banana there, you want it, but you start to go through your head, do I need the extra calories? In our brain, we're like, oh, sugar, right? And so we don't eat that darn banana. And then 2 hours later, or an hour later, we've left the house, we've gone to do something, we didn't eat the banana, suddenly we're starving. And what happens? We go through the checkout line at the grocery store, we buy the candy bar, or we swing through the drive-through because now we're really hungry and we just ate twice the calories, the fat, whatever it is, where if we just ate the banana when we were hungry for it and we were craving it, we would have been better off. And so that's kind of the philosophy that we were working with. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Next time I will make sure that I am recording that session so you can see this happening in real time. But that's a little bit about what we do. If you feel like you need a little bit of help, you need a little bit of guidance, you want to just kind of talk through some things and see if I might have some suggestions to point you in the right direction, I would love to schedule a free consultation call with you, go over what some of your goals are, what's not working, what's getting in the way of your success, and then come up with a plan and point you in the right direction. If you would like a call, just tell me in the comments or reply. I'm not sure how you're going to be seeing this video, if you're seeing it on social media or through an email, but just ask for my calendar link. Just say, I want to call, and we'll get you set up for that free consultation. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts.